that brings the total profit that I made in March on. Today, I'll share with you a complete overview of March. You'll learn how much money I made with Client Revolution, and you'll see the actions that I took to grow my agency. For those who are new here, I'm Sam. I'm the founder of Client Revolution, and in these videos, I'm showing you the behind the scenes of building a marketing agency. All right, let's dive right in, and we're going to start with the costs that I made in March. To be honest, March was actually a very cheap month, like the cheapest that I've had in months. And the only costs that I had this month were subscriptions, software, and personal development. On these subscriptions, I spent 38 euros 59 cents. This is a Patreon subscription on CopyThat. In my opinion, the best resource to learn how to write effective sales copy, and a subscription on artlist.io. Next up, we have software, and on software I've spent 116.06 euros. These are softwares like Canva, Adobe, ChatGPT, Framer, Riverside, and Loom. And lastly, on the cost side of things, I've spent 16 euros and 5 cents on personal development, more specifically on a low ticket offer of Ravi Abuvala. I've bought it to funnel hack my way into his funnel, and secondly, because I wanted to learn how to bring in leads through YouTube. So that brings the total of costs on March on 170.70 euros. Let's move on to the revenue that I made in March, and this is not something that I become happy about because it wasn't my best month in terms of revenue. In March, I only worked as a contractor for multiple agencies and I didn't do a whole lot of hours. So in total, I've worked around 24 hours billable time, which brought in a total of 1,422.60 euros. If we subtract 170.70 euros minus 1,422.60 euros, that brings the total profit that I made in March on 1,251.90 cents profit. The fact that I had so little costs actually really saved my ass this month. So I'm not going to dwell too much on it because at this point, I don't have much control on these results. The nice thing is I've signed a new client today and we are the 3rd of April. So I already made a little bit of money this month, so that's a nice way to start. I like to focus on something that I have more control of, and where I have more control over are the actions that I take to grow Client Revolution. What did I do exactly this month to get new clients and grow my agency? Well, I have sent 306 outreaches to people without an offer. If you've listened to the previous episode, you'll learn that I no longer sent outreaches to people without an offer because it was very time consuming without getting actual output. Like, I didn't have any sales meetings, and as a result of that, I didn't get any clients out of that as well. Secondly, I have done 283 podcast invites. So at the start of the month, while I was still outreaching to people who don't have an offer yet, I was also sending podcast invites, and I was sending 50 podcast invites, but I've doubled that to 100. So we clocked in at 283. I also uploaded 6 long-form video content pieces, of which are 4 solo podcast episodes like these, to just show the journey, what I'm doing, the actions that I'm taking to hopefully inspire you. And if you're a potential client of mine, to build trust and to build rapport. I also uploaded 1 interview that I did on the podcast, and I made a funnel analysis of Ravi Abuvala's funnel. If you haven't checked that out already, you can watch it in this card right here. And the last thing that I did in March to get attention for myself, but also for the agency, was upload 18 short form content pieces, which I'm pretty happy about. They didn't have a huge impact in reach on Instagram, but I learned a lot about editing and how to make better videos. So that's something that I'm going to implement in the coming days, coming weeks, to really grow on those platforms as well. Now, what are my thoughts after hearing these results and actions? First off, the results make me a little bit sad. Not really sad, but it's rather disappointment, or it's just the money that I make while being a contractor is very easy. Like, I just have assignments, I do them, I bill them 60 euros an hour. So that's a pretty easy way of making money. But the issue with that is that, one, I'm working for another agency, not mine. And two, there's a limit on that. I only can work as much as the assignments that I get. So I'm not in control of, I want to do more hours. So that's something that stings because it's very easy money. But on the other side, I'd rather focus on building Client Revolution than working for another agency, if that makes sense. And my thoughts on the results of what I'm doing with Client Revolution. Well, I didn't bring in any clients in March. That's disappointing, but there's a transition happening in March where I'm getting in contact with way more prospects through recording a podcast together. And this doesn't result directly in having a paid client, but it results in building a connection with a potential client. And I really believe that in the long term, this will help me with growing the agency. This will help me with generating trust, with getting a foot in the door, because it's really not easy to get a foot in the door with people who have thousands of followers. And having the podcast is like a nice stepping stone up until the next point. But we're only so far in with the podcast. Like, I've done 2 podcast recordings that I can't expect to have big results of it. So I'm very happy that for the coming weeks, I think I have 5 or 6 podcast episodes already lined up, and I'm still outreaching every single day to new potential guests. So it's really just a matter of time until this will get the ball rolling. But for now, it's just super important that I get in contact with potential clients and that I can learn what are their biggest pain points, what are they actually looking for. And that's something that I can use in my sales presentations, in my sales calls, in the outreaches that I send. So I'm not where I want to be, but I'm definitely on the way. And that's something that I'm pulling myself up on, because if I would only focus on the amount of money that I made in the last month, that would be very, very disappointing. So I'm focusing on the actions that I took, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to keep this as consistent as possible, and again in April perform these actions that I've done in March, and I have no doubt that the results will follow. If you have watched some of these videos before, you already know what's coming, and that's the accountability section. So my goals of last week were doing 100 podcast outreaches, which I've done, creating 2 reels/shorts, which I've done, and make a funnel analysis video of Ravi Abuvala's funnel, which I've done as well. My goals of this week are 100 podcast outreaches, trying to keep that consistent as possible. That's 20 a day. Making 5 reels/shorts, create the entire funnel and ad system video, do 5 times 8 hours of focused work, and post 2 LinkedIn posts. So I've upped my goals for this week. Let's see if I can tackle them and complete them all. I'm doing my best. So I hope that you get some inspiration out of this to hold yourself accountable for yourself and just decide, okay, I want to go to point B. What actions do I need to take, and then really take those actions. So I hope that I can inspire you to do that as well. And that's it for today. So if you like these all over the place episodes where I'm brutally honest about how I'm building Client Revolution and about how life is going, then make sure to like and subscribe. And I wish you an amazing day. Bye-bye.